Welcome to my art workshop. I'm going to show you my favorite way to make a clay pinch pot. This one is going to be to hold a tea light candle. We're going to use Play-Doh to do this, colorful Play-Doh. It will dry hard. And so the first thing that you need to do is to pry open the lid of the color that you want to use and scoop out and roll between your two hands. And this actually is going to give you a kind of massage right here, which is said to give us all a feeling of well-being. So you're going to be making a clay meatball shape, and you can roll it like this, or you can choose to do it on the table. Just grab a piece of scrap paper and roll it that way. And once you have this meatball, then you're going to take a thumb or a finger and poke in, and you want to leave clay at the bottom. It might look like a short, fat donut that doesn't have a hole all the way through. And I like to make sure that I have flat bottom. And then what I'm going to do is practice this pinch, squeeze, pinch action. So you're going to pinch and turn, squeeze and turn, and keep going, and use the clay from the bottom edge, but not the very bottom, and keep going. If it's a bigger lump of clay, you might use 2 fingers. You always push against something. My inside thumb is pushing against my outside fingers, and I can do it the other way. And just squeeze and turn, and squeeze and turn. I can do it with 2 hands in there, 2 thumbs in there. There are many ways to make a pinch pot. And let's tap it again so it stands up and doesn't rock over. And let's see if it's big enough for my tea light candle. And not quite big enough. So let's make it wider. Just squeeze out those walls. And notice that I'm not just pushing the walls. I have to have something to push against. So I'm pushing against fingers on the outside. And let's see if this is going to be large enough. Yes, but the Play-Doh is going to probably shrink a little bit when it dries. So I might want to be able to get that tea light candle out and replace it with a new one. So let's make it just a little wider, and there we go. That's good. And let's make it a little taller. So I'm going to take another color and scoop some out. Oops. Scoop some out. And let's just take a little blob and make a smaller meatball. And find that scrap paper or another, oh, it's busy, that's why. Find that scrap paper or another scrap paper, and I can start by rolling between my hands like that, or I can roll on the table using fingers or this part of my hand. And I like to go from the center to the right, and then from the center to the left, or whichever way you want to do it. Some people use two hands, and I might need a bigger scrap paper. And maybe that's even too fat. Let's make a smaller coil. And then let's just add it to my pot. Oops, doesn't quite make it all the way around. Let's make it a little skinnier. Now let's see if that works. Yes, and actually, if it didn't quite reach, I could just put a little add-on. And now I've got something that's taller, and it probably won't stay on there all by itself, so it's a good idea to do some blending of one clay into the other clay, or at least do that or that, kind of slide some of the top clay down to the lower clay. And keep on going, and maybe I want more on the top, or maybe I want another color on the top. Maybe I want to make marks on the top. Notice I'm pushing against my finger so that I'm not just pushing the wall against empty air. And maybe I even want to make holes so that the light will come through. And maybe I want to do something fancy at the top. I want to make sure I'm going to be able to get that tea light candle out if I want to trade it for a new tea light candle. And maybe I do something like my mom used to do with pie dough, something kind of scallopy at the top. And when it dries and it is strong and hard, then I can draw with a pencil, or I can draw with, probably a marker will work, and I can make it fancy. And there you go. Experiment, try something, see if it works, and have fun.